I think XRP will make a massive amount of people extremely rich. But there seem to be some people out there who have nothing better to do than to clamp down on our hopes and dreams. I mean, that's the world for you. There are always these negative Nancys and haters of sort. I personally don't believe in that. I don't like envy. I'm not a big fan of hating something, I guess, except for Gary Gensler, as I usually just stick to positive things. And talking about positive things, make sure you press that like button to, spread the positivity around. And I hope we can break another record. Take a look at this. DAI posted, Bitcoin maxis gone wild. Tone says, Vase is his name, thinks Ripple could go out of business now that they won the lawsuit because since he's a Bitcoin maxi, they actually lost. Guy at the end says there's a scenario where the money XRP goes to the treasury. It's painful how blind this guy is. Okay, quick introductions. First of all, Tone Vase, Bitcoin maxi, love the guy. He's a really nice individual, but he hates altcoins. Another guy on there that I've never heard of before also dislikes XRP a lot, and there's a discussion about how much money Ripple has to pay back. Even though it's not really been discussed in court, they seem to speculate that it's 700 billion, and then they reiterate to say, no, it's actually more like 2.6 billion. Where's that money going to come from, and who's it going to go to, and who exactly are the people that get the money, in the sense of who's the victim, right? Well, the institutions following them. One thing I don't fully understand is let's just pick, to discredit everything, let's pick the worst, absolute worst case scenario. Ripple has to pay a massive fine. Well, first of all, in theory, this is worst case scenario. Ripple could sell XRP on the open market. That would be bad for the price, but that will get rid of the fine, and XRP still is not a security. Okay, worst case, wow, boom. Best case, Ripple doesn't have to pay a fine. Middle case, most likely case, Ripple has to pay some sort of fine at some point in the future, and we'll see how they handle it, because at the end of the day, a couple $100 million, how much can the fine be? I take it. I mean, if XRP, I see it like this, right? Let's just say we have a market cap of $500 billion, where I think XRP will be at rather soon. We have to sell $500 million because otherwise XRP is going to be labeled a security or something. Okay. Well, anyway, if you know what I mean, like, worst case, we have to get Ripple to sell a little bit every single day for XRP's clarity. I mean, it's a low cost at the end of the day. I just think it's interesting that people keep claiming, no, XRP is going to die because Ripple can never pay it back. Well, there's always a way. And as we said at the start of this lawsuit, as long as XRP comes out as a non-security, I don't care what happens to the rest. I think Ripple is just praying and kissing the gods that they got off this light because, well, it's a very proper sentence. At the end of the day, you also have to realize just how many corridors it opens for Ripple now that we've got this clarity for XRP. Again, even companies outside of the US were waiting for Ripple to finish their business in the US for two reasons. One, XRP was a little bit in the middle, right? Because if it's a security in the US, that would not be too good for the rest of the world. And second of all, Ripple was in a massive lawsuit. So you're more defensive in working with a company that's in a massive lawsuit. You don't want to put all your resources on that in case something goes awry. And now one thing that's really popular in the community is news from like 2018 that the CEO of SBI, Yoshitaka Kitao, says that every bank in Japan will use XRP by 2025. Now, I can't say that's the truth because I can't confirm they actually said that. What I will say is that indeed Yoshitaka Kitao has been extremely bullish. And for as far as I believe, it's actually 2017 meeting even. Anyway, for as far as I believe, they are going to be trying to increase the XRP utility over time. And I think that through SBI, now that, US is unlocked basically, a lot of money is going to be flowing through here. And it's also interesting to me how these original connections like American Express, etc., are all now opening up as well as the US is now cleared of all this. And so if we're talking again about Ripple paying a fine, etc., well, again, in the grand scheme of things, it's a very low cost for how much the utility can now increase because of everything that's being built. And again, XRP can play a massive role through SBI. And once more, SBI has always been bullish on Ripple. They also have a joint venture with them together. But I believe even they were being a little bit skeptical and careful because of this massive lawsuit, like any company would. Anyway, now that we're talking about this false narrative that people have been trying to point out, because again, I think a lot of this is all just good. There's also one of the community members, I'm going to call it, right, that has turned on us. If you don't know, Charles Gasparino used to be he still is, a Fox Business reporter. He used to be pretty on point with the Ripple SEC lawsuit, as he was also trying to investigate Gary and all that stuff. At some point, however, he made a 180-degree switch to defending Gary Gensler and basically mocking the XRP community. Maybe his bags weren't deep enough. Our strongest soldier, Joey Swoll, is on duty to protect the community because what happened? Well, Charles Gasparino has been spreading BS over the last couple of days like a madman, in my opinion. And one of the things he said was, Ripple keeps reminding me, XRP and Ripple are not connected in any way. I guess that ship has definitely sailed. Sad, huh? And that's a response to Ripple saying, join our community, celebrating our Coinbase partnership, twitter.com/hey, Ripple XRP, you know, what was that? Because this is a scam account. It's not really Ripple, it's a Ripple XRP account. And even Joey Swoll, a fitness YouTuber or whatever, came in to say, brother, aren't you a journalist that literally part of your job is to know when a source is real or fake? Anyways, my new favorite thing on Twitter is watching you get absolutely ratioed. Do better. And indeed, the scams are out of proportion right now. It is absolutely insane, the amount of scammers in the comment section. And even David Schwartz had something to say about it. He said, it's too bad. There's no way to tell which accounts are authentic and which ones aren't. Now, people wouldn't get fooled by nonsensical misinformation like this. And even I had to come in and comment because that was one of the funniest things I saw yesterday. If you think about it, it's insane, right? That a Fox reporter, a news reporter, gets fooled by some fake news like this, of this easiness. A scam Twitter account, really? And so, of course, Charles is on Twitter. Funny how investment cults work. When I wrote what the XRP crowd loved, they called me a hero. When I reported a few things they hate, I'm public enemy number one. Little insight, I call him as I see him. No amount of trolling will change the way I do my job. In fact, I love the battle. Well, no, not really. Tony Edward also posted, stop lying, man. You started to have a freaking taller meltdown when Brad Garlinghouse didn't want to go to you for an interview first. They started posting lies to get engagement, but I guess lying is part of your track record. That's what people have been pointing out now. And again, if you take a look at all his remarks, for some reason, and I just don't understand it, he seems to want to spin all of this into such a negative narrative. No one called Ripple verdict better than John Deaton, but be clear on what exactly he predicted. Initial XRP sales by Ripple were illegal. They clearly violated Howey. Secondary market purchasers clearly didn't. That's what happened. It's why Brad Garlinghouse will be writing a check. That's a response to him stating, hate to break it to the XRP pumpers, Ripple will be paying money on the part of the case it lost. Plus, there isn't a securities lawyer I've interviewed who thinks that part they won stands on appeal. Just so much negativity, I don't understand. Why is Ripple having to pay some fines for institutional sales a bad thing? And once more, like I've said before, a lot of these lawyers that are coming in to back up these claims are the same people who said that Ripple would never win. Guys, whenever there is light, there's always going to be darkness. And for some reason, with the XRP community, this darkness is very broad, a broad shadow in the background. Like I said, I don't care about anything else except for the fact that XRP holders are happy because it's not a security. And again, think about this, right? If the SEC or whatever really wants to make sure XRP holders are hurt, they're going to let Ripple sell it on everybody, potentially. But at the end of the day, you understand how broken the system then is, right? Where Ripple made profit, potentially off of institutional sales. Now, XRP holders might actually be hurt because of all this. At the end of the day, the SEC's protecting investors' claims are always stupid. The best thing to happen for the entire ecosystem would you just let it slide now from now forward, if we're talking about the best for everybody involved. Unless they're going to literally be using that money that they get to pay people back. But again, the damages from potential decreases might be even worse. And the whole appeal part I talked about earlier already. It doesn't make sense for the SEC to go for an appeal right now. And like Anders also said, I fully expected the BTC maxis to have a meltdown and deny reality when XRP was ultimately cleared as a non-security. This is perfectly normal, I agree. And like we also said earlier, there are many SEC officials who say, no, just wait, it's going to get worse. But all right, and now before we move on, I quickly want to tell you guys about one of the partners of the channel. And I always love this. They're called Meld Finance, and they've got themselves a little promotion here where you can basically apply for an airdrop. And as you guys know, whenever there are airdrop possibilities, I like to tell you guys about it. I have another video coming out shortly talking more about airdrops because very often they're just free money, which everybody likes. Just to quickly tell you, if you go over to the Meld website, it's just very simple to enter, sign up, get a wallet, and get your early access pass. And the more you participate, the more Meld you get. But of course, what is Meld? It might be kind of important to understand. Well, they're trying to do quite a lot. The most important piece you can read right here, they're a non-custodial DeFi protocol for Web3. with cross-chain lending, borrowing, and staking, all on their own blockchain, and also allowing for some other blockchains, as well as integrated fiat banking. Anyway, whenever I talk about a project or look into it, and it has to do with banking, nowadays I always look for this non-custodial part, meaning they don't have access over your funds. And I also always like to see this fiat banking part because that means they've got themselves a couple pretty good roads in place because it's not easy to get that done. And usually it's also nice to see that they're a little bit more interoperable. They basically operate on multiple different chains. And as you can see here, it will be natively available on Cardano, Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon, and Binance Smart Chain, as well, of course, on their own chain. So simply put, it's like a EU neobank, but with crypto capabilities, like yield and borrowing in a DeFi sense. I believe you can also do 15 different fiat currencies, which is pretty wild. But yeah, to get some insights, here's a little bit of what it looks like if you're in the wallet section. And if you go over to the website, there's also a section of what they're planning to get done. And to get yourself a wallet is also very simple. Over on the website, just press this Meld app section. And at the bottom here, you can see create wallet. It's that simple. And so it's basically a very versatile project, if you can even call it that, because they've got their own blockchain. They have like this finance section, which I consider more to be like a traditional bank, but then like a neo one. They've got the app part, which is more of the crypto connection, like the non-custodial wallet, etc. You've then got the lending and borrowing protocol, which is tapping even deeper into the DeFi, obviously. But then it's also connected to fiat, which again is pretty huge. And then they've got their own token, of which I talked about at the start. They've got the airdrop for, if I'm not mistaken. But I can't be mistaken that the airdrop is actually paid into something else. I just recommend you to always, whenever they're pretty much free, to try and participate, all right? Be safe, be sensible. So don't be stupid in connecting all your main wallets to all these airdrop things. No, be smart about it, but airdrops can sometimes be thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. But even if they're just a couple hundred, usually it takes almost no effort, no work. And if you right now go to the Meld website, you can see at the top, hashtag Meld airdrop is now live. Join the race to win 1 million Meld tokens. So I'm not so sure if everything on CoinMarketCap is already updated, as again, they recently migrated. But like I said, I might put a link down below to Meld, I'm not sure. Otherwise, just check it out for yourself and head over to the airdrop and just do everything. That's what I always recommend everybody anyway. You know, always be safe about it, but you understand my drift. And I'm not, again, 1,000% sure if there's only going to be one winner that gets like 20,000 bucks, or if they're going to make it so that, you know, a couple more people actually get some small stuff. If there's only one winner, I am never really a big fan, but I can surely ask them that if they're actually able to give some more people, you know, some rewards. But yeah, make sure you go ahead and check it out. And guys, I keep looking further on Twitter, finding more and more salty remarks from our Mr. Charles here. Moon Lambo said, Garlinghouse previously stated, Ripple has $1 billion in the bank, so maybe it'd come from that, talking about this fine that all of a sudden is finding such a trendy topic. Moon Lambo said, so far I haven't found a single XP holder that cares if Ripple ends up paying a fine to the SEC. If you exist, please respond and make your unicorn status unknown or known. What matters to us, XRP holders, is that XRP has been declared a non-security. That's pretty much it. Exactly my thoughts. Charles seems to care what Ripple assets will be used to pay any fine. And Moon Lambo said, Garlinghouse stated previously Ripple has $1 billion. And Charles says, so does Ripple have $1 billion in cash laying around, or $1 billion in XRP that they will cash in to pay the fine, which also dilutes retail? Another question I have for management. And two things, right? One, like Hodl says here, I'm speculating you must be getting paid to bash XRP and Ripple, probably from the corrupt folks that gave the Ethereum free pass. I mean, it kind of seems that way. But also Bear Babu is saying, fire your motherfucking PR team. I've never seen anyone drop the ball as hard as you. What is going on with this guy? And the quote, to be exact, was, Ripple has no debt. We never had any debt. We got $1 billion of cash. And once more, guys, I will also warn you, these posts from Ripple are fake. It's not Ripple, it's Ripple XRP. So be careful. There's no airdrop of sorts. I mean, there are airdrops, but not these XRP ones. And any Ripple link that you see is fake. And if you really want to hear it from the horse's mouth, take a look at this.
These are countries that are providing the clarity for entrepreneurs to invest, and that allows a company like Ripple that is larger. We have more than $1 billion of US dollars cash on our balance sheet. We want to deploy that to grow both organically, internally, but also inorganically through acquisition.
And again, I think already that's like a worst case scenario. First of all, this will take a long time because the trial has to happen first. And also, if you start thinking about it, it just doesn't make sense. This negative scenario many people are pointing out, right? But then again, what would happen if XRP were to be at $10 and all of a sudden Ripple's holdings of XRP would be so huge that, well, what is $1 billion then, right? At that point. But like we said, like Scott says here as well, at the end of the day, it's all Ripple's concern. For Ripple stockholders might not be too nice. At the end of the day, Ripple has the cost, and most likely it will come from a corner that hurts XRP holders the least. Because yeah, Ripple has, of course, a little bit of a reputation to keep up at that point because they don't want more bad press. But at the end of the day, even if they were to sell XRP over the market, probably they'd compensate by making sure more than that is bought back. I mean, Ripple is not stupid. One thing they want in this world is for XRP to succeed. I mean, it just makes most sense because they're the biggest holder of it. So the worst thing they could ever do is make sure that XRP crashes. That's never what they would want. And obviously, a lot of their partners are also basically rooting for the same thing, for XRP's massive growth. So a lot of these guys will also step in. I think right now is one of the best times to actually start developing everything. Well, the development probably is already done. I'm going to say actually really install a lot of things which have been built throughout the last couple of years. So I'm quite excited for that. And I'd say just ignore a lot of these fudsters, guys. Many people like some clicks, but XRP is in the best position it's ever been at. And if you disagree, well, I think you're stupid. You can't tell me that XRP is in a bad position. You can't tell me that the results from the lawsuit was bad. I honestly think anybody telling you this has a certain agenda or just want clicks, which is also an agenda, because nobody really look at me in the face can say, no, this verdict was bad for XRP holders. This is not what we wanted. Nobody. You can hate Ripple. You can hate XRP. You can hate crypto, whatever. But you cannot tell me that this verdict was bad for XRP and XRP holders. Yeah. At the end of the day, guys, I believe the bull market is back. I believe XRP's lawsuit victory has sparked the beginning of altcoin season. I'm buying everything like a madman, and I don't care what anybody else says. There's going to be an ETF soon for Bitcoin. Eventually, that could also translate to an XRP ETF. We've got Gary Gensler speaking in front of the House Senate, or the Senate Appropriations Committee next Wednesday. We got a 21-day deadline for the Bitcoin ETF response. We've got Fed now launching, could be huge for XRP and the XP Ledger. We've got the FOMC meeting in 9 days. And now a lot of these partnerships finally opening up. Guys, at the end of the day, I think we're in a really bullish position for crypto. And yeah, that's about it. Guys, if you have not done it yet, make sure you put that notification bell on for in case something happens. You want to be notified, like I always say. It's better to get the notification and then just skip it than not getting the notification at all, because at that point you might miss out on some very important critical news. So if you got it on, good job, and see you again in another crypto video soon.